Hi, welcome to episode 5 of our Into the Light series. So far, we have talked about how nature points to a creator that is eternal and all powerful. Today, we are going to check out some amazing details about creation that have been observed through good science. Now, before I give this info, let me say that the info I gathered is common knowledge. No, common does not mean boring. No, not just run of the mill. Commonplace for peasantry. Whoa. Get off that high horse there. No, another way of saying common knowledge is to say that it's general knowledge. Sure, generals are cooler than peasants? No, that is not what that means. And peasants have just as much value as anyone else because a person's value comes from being made after God's image, after his likeness. And furthermore, peasants make some of the greatest heroes. Look, anyone who's going to grow properly in knowledge and wisdom and understanding has to come at this with a measure of humility. People that think they know it all or look down on others, eek, that attitude only blinds people. Now, to get back to my original statement, much of the info that I will share as amazing facts of science can be found from multiple sources and are not really disputed. Maybe later we'll get into bias or false science or something like that at another time. Now, first, the details I'm honing in on here in this episode are amazing in that they demonstrate great complexity working together. What I'm about to show you is so complex that chance could never have formed it. So I'm actually going to start at the end of God's creation and handiwork, the masterpiece, if you will, of his creation. Have you guessed what it is? Or should I say who it is? Yeah, it's you and I. It's mankind. It's humanity. Check out Psalm 139:14. David the psalmist says, I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. So please don't take this as I am fearfully and wonderfully made, and don't I know it. Remember, humility. So let me show you how you and every human being alive points to how marvelous God's works really are. So the human body, it's composed of about 60% water by weight. It's composed of minerals like calcium and phosphate, which make up the bones, for example. Other important minerals from the dust of the ground, from which God says he formed the first man, would be sodium, magnesium, iron, along with the necessary but very little traces of zinc, copper, iodine, cobalt, and manganese. And the body's material is also made of organic matter, which include lipids and proteins, which are building blocks, while also depends on carbohydrates for fuel and nucleic acids for the cells. But those are just materials. Putting a bunch of materials together, I suppose, could happen by chance. But what cannot possibly come about by chance are putting those materials together to form the complex and interdependent systems of the human body that allow a human being to be alive. In order for a human being to be healthy and stay alive, every system in the human body is needed to function and to function in harmony with the other systems in the body simultaneously. So let's start with the system that is perhaps overlooked, but is actually the foundation of the other systems, the cellular system. I'm not talking about phones. You hear me now? You're hearing me now? Okay, okay. I'm talking about the estimated 30 trillion cells that make up the human body, which doesn't count the estimated bacterial cells that interact with our body, which seems to be estimated in a lot of places at 38 trillion or so. Our cells are not just matter, but they are organic and are living in the sense that they do things important and amazing things. Some cells, like in our nerves, are there for a lifetime, while much more have a short lifespan and have to be replaced with new cells. An estimated 50 billion cells are replaced every day in the human body. They start as generic stem cells, then are built to become one of the 200 types of cells needed in the body. Stem cells are the most basic type of living cell and are therefore called simple cells. But don't let that name fool you, because these simple cells are as complex as factories. You could even go as far to say they are like microscopic cities, with the DNA blueprints being transported by the RNA taxis, I guess. Now, most of these stem cells are turned into red blood cells. There are so many red blood cells in the human body that they actually make up 8 out of every 10 cells in the human body. Like the Bible said, thousands of years before doctors realized it, the life of the flesh is in the blood. Now, this idea of the red blood cells would definitely be a perfect lead in to our next system, and then to go into all the other systems that I want to mention about the human body. But unfortunately, this is going to have to be continued. So stay tuned for our next episode in our Into the Light series. And until next time, ponder about that simple cell, how it's not even so simple. I mean, they call this irreducible complexity, where even the most simple part of it is still complex. It still had to be put together, really. Couldn't have happened by chance. So, until next time, seek after the Lord. Put your faith in Jesus Christ, and then grow in your relationship with Him and share Him with others. God bless.